Yes. All right, I believe we're live. Let's see. We're going to find out from my wife if she gets a notification this time. We are live. Booyah, we did it, T-Bird. This is T-Bird. I'm Bluebeard Bard. We are here to talk about songwriting in the Songwriter Studio. I'm a songwriter based in Southern Illinois. If you like what I have to say, you can check out my Bandcamp. If you like what T-Bird has to say, you can check out his Bandcamp. You see him on the screen there. Anyway, let's get into it. How you doing today, T-Bird?
I'm doing great. While we had the little technical difficulties, I will say again though that I love this whole concept of I especially like the one song idea
Sure.
because I think if you throw at a lot of musicians, indie or not, and say, hey, you have to pick a song and talk about that and only that one for an hour, that was a challenge. And alone, that was fun in and of itself, just trying to figure out which song do I want to do because I
Right
could
on.
talk about every one of them for an hour because I'm,
Sure.
long-winded, obviously. But
You're right. Hey, you're in the right place, man. You're in the right place. We like talker. We like talkers here.
yeah, oh yeah, yeah, yeah.
Right on.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Well, my first question, basically for everybody, is how did you get into songwriting? What spurred you to pick up the guitar, or piano, whatever it was?
I started playing violin when I was in fourth grade, and I played it up until seventh grade. And my teacher was like, "I'm not going to teach you anymore if you don't join chorus in junior high." And like I think it was Tuesday was the first day of chorus, and like already Monday was like hell. I'm just already getting bullied and picked on. I'm like, I'm not going to give anybody another reason, so I quit.
Oh no.
Um, I know, but I think it was more just anxiety over because there's a lot to it, but mainly I was just like fuck it. I still kept the violin for a while, and I actually the Transformers movie in '86, the Death of Optimus Prime theme. I learned how to play that on the violin, like the
Okay.
all the. Anyway, and
Cool.
that was my first kind of like ear playing stuff. And then my dad had this guitar and this old amp with a tube, like a glass tube amp, like old, like 50s style. And he taught me how to play this surf song, the surf rock song, and I just kind of took to it myself. And by then, around about that time, I want to say 15, 16, 17, those kind of years is when kind of Pearl Jam broke out.
Sure.
Soundgarden
I
was becoming
remember.
big.
I'm an
I
old
was
head.
already
I'm an
into,
old head too.
you know exactly, yeah.
Yeah.
And like up until that point, I was really into like Iron Maiden. My friends in junior high got me into like Metallica and stuff. And some other friends got me into like even more like to me obscure stuff like ska
Sure.
and things like and punk and stuff like that. And um, so I don't I know my first song I wrote was in 1993. There were these floods in Iowa, and we had to go to Cedar Rapids to look at a car, me and my parents, and I really had to take a shit. And I couldn't because all the toilets in Cedar Rapids literally were not
Yeah.
working because of
Sure.
the floods.
It's
So, mom,
real
yeah,
problems.
oh my God. She's like, you gotta wait till we get back home or whatever. Da, da, da. I'm like, fucking Christ. Okay. So we got back home, and on the way home, I wrote this like searing death metal song called Walk on Rain. And it's on my first full album, Inner Satellite, I believe. And that was when I was 17. And I was sitting around fucking with the guitar, and I just started playing it at this weird, like strange, just, folksy kind of acoustic thing, and it became that instead. And the story of Walk on Rain after I wrote it is about a kid who's walking home from the funeral of his best friend.
Okay.
However, whatever age you want to say, 10 to 18, a kid, and it starts raining, and he starts thinking about to kind of not think about the grief he feels about his friend. He's directing all of his anger towards the rain.
Okay.
Um,
It's an
and so
interesting
the
idea,
lyrics, yeah, the
especially for a
lyrics are basically
17-year-old kid. That's pretty nice rating.
I knew right away. I was like, okay, so I know my brother started making comic books before I was born. You can see Captain America and
Yep.
She-Hulk and Black Panther behind me. I'm a comic book nerd. I love it. I think I knew who Peter Parker was before I knew my own name, if that makes sense. Like I
Sure.
started reading comic books and then or started looking at them and then I read them and that's why I think honestly, if you want your kid to be really smart, leave comic books around. Leave comic books around and they will find them and they will start looking at the pictures. Then they'll notice the words and they will figure it all out. They will want to learn and go and explore shit and find out about shit. I did.
Sure.
So but so I think I've always been really fascinated with stories and I love stories and I love the idea that you can take a complete nothing and make a story out of it based on your own experiences, based on something you read yesterday, based on something you saw on TV 2 weeks ago. You can make something out of nothing. And that was my first, like, holy shit, I can do this. And plus, everybody, every time they heard the song, they were like, that song's a hit. You know,
Cool.
so I knew I had something going on. Yeah.
Cool. Cool. Did you feel like you needed to give yourself permission to be a songwriter, or did you just feel it happening, and as it happened it was like, all right, this is cool. I love, I'm going to go with this.
Yeah, I started doing that kind of stuff, and my buddies had started a band, and they didn't like their guitar player, and they didn't like their singer. So I came on to be a guitar player and backup vocalist, which eventually we kicked the singer out, and it became our band, and we were called the Dead Prisoners. And my buddy kind of was like, I've heard your stuff, I've seen you play, you need to like do this. And I actually did stand in front of a mirror with a baseball bat and Led Zeppelin 4. Okay, I did that shit, right? I did that shit where I was pretending to be Jimmy
Yeah.
Page and
Yeah.
Robert Plant at the same time, because I'm singing too.
Sure.
And so I think I always had that kind of like, oh, I want to do that. And MTV was actually cool back then, so you kind of saw like, what it was like being a rock star and shit.
Yeah.
And I think that was really when my friend kind of convinced me to join their band. And then when they kicked the singer and the other guitar player out and they're like, we're going with your stuff, I was like, I can do this. It just,
Yeah.
then
Cool.
about 2 or 3 years later, I got involved in drugs and alcohol and,
Well, it's good.
yeah,
It's good you had a little support system there for a little while. I think a lot of
yeah,
people need something like that, need someone to say, hey, dummy, that thing you did, do it again. It
yeah,
was
yeah,
good. Um,
yeah. I never thought about it until just now, but I'm sure I had leanings towards that, but it really wasn't, I can do this until my friends, kind of pushed me to do it. And I've never thought about that. This is why this is an awesome show.
yeah,
You get to,
we're figuring
yes,
things out. We're figuring
yes,
things out. Sure.
yeah,
That's
yeah,
cool.
yeah.
So, how many songs would you say you've written in your life? Do you write a song a week, you write a song a month, or is it just here and there?
I'd say well over 300.
Okay.
And that's just songs that I've written. I know I have over 100 songs in my catalog on streaming services.
Okay.
Um, and I have another album coming out next month, even though I put two out last year, and a covers album, which I'm covering Prince, Stevie Nicks, The Monkees, Nine Inch Nails, and Del Shannon. So that's kind of cool. Oh,
Okay.
and Weird Al Yankovic. Yeah, I got to do Weird Al Yankovic too. But it just to me, there's never been. I've been blessed with never having writer's block, if you will. The closest thing I had was I wrote a novel, which I'll publish someday. But for 15 years, I couldn't figure out where to go from a certain point in the book to the end of the book. I knew how the book was going to end, but I didn't know how to get from here to there.
Yeah, I
And
gotcha. The middle can be
15
the
years.
hardest part. Yeah, it really
Yeah.
can
And
be.
oh yeah, and I had a kidney stone, and I was on painkillers for a solid like 2 weeks, and all I
Okay.
did was just write the rest of the book longhand in like all of these books. Like
Okay.
I just couldn't stop because I was just so like just like I was just blah. I was not even in this world. I was in that world. But I've been blessed with not having like writer's block. I have music going on in my head constantly.
Yeah,
While we're
sure.
talking, I have music going on in my head. It might be a snippet of a song I heard earlier. It might be one of my songs. It might be a new song, but at some point, those songs become un they become unerringly like they have to be and I have to follow that. I can pick and choose, but honestly once the song kind of goes, okay, hey, I've got something to say and you really want to record me, it's like, okay, well shit, I got to do that. And Rochambeau was a lot like that. one of those songs that was like, you have to write me at some point, asshole. You know, I was like, all right.
Right on.
Yeah.
How important writing that many songs? How important to you is it? Because you got to have some quality control at some point. Not everything you
Yeah.
write is going to be as good as everything else you write. And you've
Mhm.
chosen 100 that you've recorded. Are they your
Mhm.
favorite 100? Are they your easiest 100? Are they how did you pick what the world gets to see?
I go album by album. My first thing was I'm not going to. I'm saying I go by album. And so my first thing was All Systems Go, and that was all songs that I played during my open mics in Denver. So that was all stuff that was already out there. And then starting with Inner Satellite and moving on to the next albums, I think Arigato was the last album that featured anything that had been written previously. Everything else after that was a song that came into my head, and I'm like, somebody told me once, if you got a song, release it. And I'm like, fuck it, I'm just gonna make albums because I can, and they're fully complete albums. And I would say that except for maybe one or two, and some of that is maybe mixing or this, you know what I mean, or the
Yeah, sure.
arrangement,
Little
whatever.
details. Yeah,
Sure, minutia. But honestly, I'm proud of everything that I put out because um I know that it wouldn't have made it to the recording process if it wasn't worth a damn.
sure.
I do know that yes, there are some prolific songwriters and recording artists out there who, yes, not everything is great. Let's be honest, Melancholy and the Infinite Sadness is 2 discs of Billy Corgan jerking off. Okay, so let's be honest about that. Okay, just because he wrote a double album doesn't mean it's any fucking good. Anyway,
Yeah,
sorry if you love the Smashing Pumpkins, but um, I do think the other thing too is once my songs, everybody talks about their songs being their babies. If that's the case, they are kids that I'm giving up for adoption.
sure. Yeah, I feel the same way. Once you finish with a song, it's in the
Mhm.
world, and it's
Yes.
that's part of why. One, I'm going to ask you one more question before we move on to the music, but
Okay.
that's part of why I don't want to get into the song until we hear it because I want people to experience it the first time as they would
Yeah.
in the wild. I want them to hear the
Perfect.
title, go, that's interesting. Let's see what we got. They'll hear it,
Sure.
and then
Cool.
we'll give them everything they need to know. So the last
Perfect.
question I was going to ask you is,
Yeah.
how easy was it to choose this song? Did you choose it because it's your best song, because it's got the most
Mhm.
lore, because it's the poppiest or whatever? Because it's a bop, man. It's
Yeah.
catchy.
I like it. Yeah. I would say, like, to be honest, like the day after I sent you the Rochambeau stuff, I was like, oh man, these 2 songs or this third, whatever,
Yeah,
because that's how that works, right?
sure.
You're like,
Yeah,
oh, but I chose Rochambeau because it has so many different places that we can go talking about this song, and I really wanted to make sure that I could fill an hour. I mean, of course I can, but I really wanted to make it interesting for people watching, and I honestly, if you're watching right now, I want you to come away with this from this with some new knowledge that you had no idea about. I really
sure.
do.
And
Yeah.
hopefully some inspiration, because
Yeah.
if
Perfect.
we're still doing it and we're still doing it at a high level, which I think you'll see T-Bird
Yeah.
is,
Yeah.
then anyone can do it.
A high level.
Yeah, yeah, a high level, no comment. But no,
I couldn't. Yeah.
let's play the song here. Let's share
On that note,
yeah, share. Let's see this one here. Share sound. Share. All right, there it is. And there we are up in the window. All right, everybody, this is Rochambeau by the amazing T-Bird.
Rochambeau, he's 6'3". Yeah, he became the ruler of the Caribbean Sea. The gold ingots, the blind misery. Yeah, he knows all the desperate pleas. Rochambeau was a sailor in the navy of the Española, and he saw the graves on the ocean waves for 8 long years and 22 days. The mutiny brought the captain slain. Now Rochambeau's a pirate's name. Rochambeau, Rochambeau, Rochambeau. Yeah, Rochambeau. Rochambeau, he's 6'3". Yeah, he became the ruler of the Caribbean Sea. The golden gods, the blind misery. Yeah, he knows all the desperate pleas. Rochambeau wanted adventure, freed his crew from the chain of the indenture, and he took them through the Caribbean Sea, and they began cutlassing most violently. And Rochambeau, with his vile pedigree, he led them with a vicious glee. Rochambeau, he's 6'3". Yeah, he became the ruler of the Caribbean Sea. The golden gods, the blind misery. Yeah, he knows all the desperate pleas. The crown took Rochambeau seriously. They dispatched the navy across the wide Black Sea. When Rochambeau saw those big damn boats, he realized Rochambeau don't float.
That's a good track, man.
I love it. I'm really, really proud of how it came out. Yeah, I mean, yeah. Do you have before? We can do this either way. You can ask me questions about it, or I can just kind of go into it.
Well, you know what I was gonna say first. My first question was gonna be, WTF, man? You're an Iowa boy. Where did that come from? Because you pulled it off. How do I
know,
sorry,
I know.
am I still sharing my screen? No, I'm not
Yeah, yeah.
anymore. Or am I?
On me you are on the Zoom.
Okay.
But no big deal. I mean, as long as you can see me on the stream, I don't mind.
Yeah, I can see you. I just want to make sure that everyone else can see you. All right.
Yeah.
Anyway, sorry for the lull in the hot action here, but yes, WTF, T-Bird, where did this come from? You sound like a guy who eats conch salad and smokes big spliffs and sits on the beach all day. Not
Only one of those things is true.
Yeah. Okay.
So it's 2025 and it's like January, and I'm riding down the elevator with the big guy at the radio station I work at, iHeartRadio here. He's talking to somebody. He's like, and I got that Rob Sand show. And Rob Sand at the time was an auditor, the state auditor, and he was fighting constantly with our dipshit Republican governor, who's just ruined our state. Anyway, politics aside, I liked him, and now he's the Democratic candidate for governor this fall, which hope he wins. I wrote a campaign song for him, but I was starting to get, I got the production job and I became good friends with him, which is awesome because I can like text maybe the governor. That's awesome. But I started getting some money, and right around that time, Maddie, Jade, and Three the Real were, I think once a week they were doing like a showcase and trying to like get like a local scene going on in Pensacola. And it was at a different place every week. I don't think they had found a place or ever found a place that was, hey, let's do this every week. But the week that they were talking about, they just, I think Maddie posted like, hey, Idiotic Oddity is coming down to play with us, to rap with us on stage. And I'm like, holy shit. And I had a little bit of scratch from this Rob Sand job. And I'm like, fuck it. So I went down to Pensacola, Florida, in May of 2025.
Okay.
And while I was down there, I got to rap on the same stage with Maddie and Three, which is fucking dope as hell.
Yeah.
Oddity ended up getting a B&B like an hour away, and he had no car, and it would have been prohibitively expensive for Uber. So we just didn't have Oddity. I met him later, actually earlier that year, when I went out to Indiana. But regardless, I booked a Dolphins trip for myself, and what that was is go see dolphins, right?
Okay.
And I went down there and I ate like 50 milligrams of edibles. And I was like, sweet, I'm gonna go watch the dolphins. And I go out to the thing, and this is how you can tell if I'm doing those. I was in the parking lot having a cigarette while we were waiting for more people to show up, and I just started doing the robot. And it was like a full 30 seconds before I realized what I was doing. Um, it's just one of those things. Anyway, so we go out of the boat, and while we're going out there to the place where they generally, eat and fuck. So that's generally where you can find them coming up to the
Sure.
surface. Is
Yes, that's where you're gonna see him, where the action
yeah.
is.
So right, the hot action.
Yeah.
So we got there, and we saw some dolphins. It was great. I have great videos of them, and they were really close. And we were driving back, and on the way back, obviously, the engine's on and running, and we're going pretty fast, and the water on the boat, and they had music playing, and I could have sworn it must have been Bob Marley's "Could You Be Loved." I still don't know which Bob Marley song it was. I know it was Bob Marley, but all I could hear was the very bare bones of the reggae sound, of the
Sure.
reggae-ness of it,
Yeah,
if you
the
will.
kind of off kilter, off the beat, but
Yeah.
on the beat, behind the
Yes.
beat, however you want to call it.
A little bit of the deep bass, but mainly like the drums and stuff. And
Yeah.
I was like, okay, and I don't know why, but this song started dun 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 do 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 but do 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 boop boop do do do. And I'm like, okay, well, fuck, that's a song.
ROCHAMBEAU, six.
Yeah.
I can start thinking it.
That didn't come for a while. I think I came up with the song with the title right away, but yeah, I didn't come up with the lyrics. Um I've done kind of you've heard of pop-up boutiques.
Yep, sure.
I've developed a pop-up style of songwriting, and what I mean by that is I don't know what the words are specifically until I get to the studio. And I know what the melody is. I generally maybe know what the song is about, but mostly it's I'm going to let my brain just blah onto the page,
Okay,
and
that's
I
interesting.
I feel like it's more primal. And if
Yeah.
it sucks, obviously I'm going to change it, at later times. I'll change, if it totally sucks. But generally, it's really primal. It's really good. And that's how I did this. And Rochambeau was a fictional character. Obviously, he was a sailor in the Navy of the Española. By the way, um, Spain has been known as España, I believe is what they call their own country. Española is what that piece of shit Columbus called an island in the Caribbean. He called it La Isla Española, which was the little Spain. So
Okay.
Española, I used that, and it doesn't rhyme with sailor, I know, but it kind of does.
Sure.
The reason why I'm bringing
The
that
rhyme's
up
enough.
is
It's fine.
the reason why I'm bringing that up is because I was concerned about appearing to be a cultural appropriator. I really wanted to make sure that that everybody could understand that I absolutely respect and adore the genre of reggae.
Sure.
I don't generally do it, but I did not want to come off as like Vanilla Ice. I wanted to come off as Snow. Do you remember Snow?
I don't remember Snow. I wasn't very hip though.
See that me Snow me, I go blam. I lick your boom boom down.
Oh, sure. Okay, I just didn't know who that was. Yeah, but I know that
I
song.
sat with that song and learned how to do Informer, say daddy me snow me, I go blam. What that means is that in the Jamaican patois, he moved to the Allenbury Gardens projects in Toronto. I told you we're going on a journey. In 1983, and there were a large population of Jamaican immigrants, and he had dropped out of school, so he learned how to speak the Jamaican patois, is what they call it, right?
Okay.
Snow got a lot of shit because they were like, dude, you're a white guy doing this stuff and you shouldn't be, right?
Yeah.
Vanilla Ice, same stuff, but Vanilla Ice sucks. Snow is actually really cool, man, because
Yeah.
the song is about him getting blamed for a stabbing and having to go to jail. He actually went to jail and shit.
Wow.
But I knew that I wanted to not be Vanilla Ice. I wanted to be more Snow. I wanted to be authentic as far as I could be. And when I started, again getting into ska and punk and stuff like that, my friends would get me into like Op Ivy and Specials and Madness. No FX and Sublime and Rancid are kind of newer bands, and Real Big
Sure.
Fish that have kind of taken up the banner of
I,
the
I
ska bands.
I saw Real Big Fish live before they hit with
Nice.
before Turn the Radio Off hit.
Okay.
And there were about 3 people. It was a club that held about 200 people, so it's kind of a medium-sized club. There were 3
Nice.
people in the audience, and I was one of them. And it was such a dope show that if you've seen them live or any ska band, it's
don't
wild.
doubt it, man.
Yeah,
Yeah,
but
there were a
anyway,
couple
sorry
of,
to interrupt.
yeah. No, you're fine. So the reason why I kind of stuck with that Snow that song is because I wanted to know, because to me it was gibberish growing up, like da 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 da, and I figured it out. It's Informer, say daddy me snow me, I go blam, a licky boom boom down. Detective man, I say daddy me snow me, stab someone down the land, a licky boom boom down. And what he's saying is, this fucking guy is telling me that somebody saw me stab someone down the lane.
Yeah,
And that's
okay.
bullshit, dude.
Yeah.
So I learned how to figure that shit out. Language to me is just really, really fun. But I didn't want to come off as like a guy trying to be like Cuddy Ranks or Bob Marley, right?
Yeah, sure.
So to a degree, I avoided recording the song for a long, long time. And I knew the name was Rochambeau. Rochambeau to me is really funny because it's another name for rock, paper, scissors.
Sure.
And
Do you
it's
remember
also,
the South Park reference?
I was just going to say in the Mecha Strikes Back episode, Rochambeau is incorrectly described as kicking each other in the nuts until you concede. There is an actual thing called, I told you we were going on a journey. There is an actual thing, Bluebeard, called sack tapping.
Oh,
In 2010, there was a big YouTube thing, and this one kid lost a testicle. And people were like, stop doing that. So kids are dumb. Anyway,
hey, sorry, T-Bird, I got to stop
Yeah.
you for a second because
Yeah.
I think that you and I might be distant cousins because half the bands you just listed is what I listened to in high school.
Yeah.
And my cousins and I grew up nut tapping each other and trying to knock each other out. We'd send each other to the ground in pain and then laugh our asses off, and it was all fair game.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I'm sure I got hit in the nuts by a friend, because of that, but I never willingly, because I don't know, but I totally get that.
But sorry, back to the
No, you're good.
onward.
Yeah, and Rochambeau is rock paper scissors, and it's also the name of Count Jean-Baptiste Donatien de Vermeur, Comte de Rochambeau, who was instrumental in the American victory against the British in the Revolutionary War.
Okay,
So
that's
there is
the one
a
that
Rochambeau.
that's the one that I found when I Googled. I wasn't
Yes.
sure if you had created a fictional character here, or if this was a pirate who had inspired you with his deeds of, ignoring all the desperate pleas.
Yeah, so I just made him up out of whole cloth because I avoided it for a long time because I didn't know how the vocals would go. And I quickly hit on the da 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 and he does the G, and just get that deep gravelly voice.
Yeah.
I'm not trying to sound like anybody specifically. I'm trying to sound like a narrator in kind of a sea shanty hell, if you will, like a horror movie set at sea, And so I've written on Fuck Yes, there was a song called Cheverline, and that was a story song, which I didn't really feel like I did my best on. I love the song, and the story works, but I kind of fudged some stuff to make it work in 3 verses. And this, I just had to start writing the words, and the first thing, Rochambeau, he's 6'3". Yeah, he became the ruler of the Caribbean Sea, and you got to pronounce it like Billy Ocean, because that's how most people pronounce it down in that area.
Okay.
The gold ingots, the blind misery. Yeah, he knows all the desperate pleas. That came out of me, and I was like, holy fuck, I can do this.
Yeah.
I can actually do this. And I just made up this song about this guy, this pirate, And to me, it's on the album Tectonic, which is a protest album about our stupid ass society and what we've done to it with all this tech shit. And I was like, it doesn't really fit in that kind of whatever. And I'm like, it absolutely does. And here's why. Is Rochambeau, is he a good guy? Because he released dozens and dozens of men from slavery or indentured servitude because he was sick of seeing these guys that he was sailing with under these conditions. He was
Yep.
sick of watching the slave trade, whatever. Or is he a bad guy because he murdered hundreds of people who posed no harm to him
Sure.
just so he could get stuff? And in our society right now, it should be so easy to pick out the evil people. In fact, I know who the evil people are, but there are tons of thousands of jack fucking asses out there who are like, I'm not sure about Elon Musk. Get the fuck out of here right now. I'm not sure about Alex Karp. Get out of here. I'm not sure about Sam Altman. Get out of here. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
There are fucking bad guys in this world, and because they have so much money and because they own all the social media fucking companies, they can convince stupid people that, hey, we're not that bad. Yes, you fucking are. In fact, you're going to extinct humanity with your stupid fucking data centers. So, in a way, you can have that ambiguity about Rochambeau. Is he good or is he bad?
Sure.
Because in our society, to me, clearly bad people are being lionized and worshipped and followed, and they have no business being in charge of fucking anything
Yeah.
other than a dung heap that they made themselves with their own shit.
Yeah. It's
Okay, I had to rant a little bit.
That's all right. I wanted to avoid politics generally, but since I agreed with basically everything you said, I'm going to let it pass.
didn't go. Notice I didn't go with politicians. I went with
you did.
billionaires.
You did.
Okay,
and I'm with you. I'm with you 100%. Yeah, I'm just giving you a little bit of shit.
I totally get you. And I do want to stay away from politics, but to me, it's so stupid that there's people out there that have this inner monologue about like, I wonder, and it's like, you're fucking dumb. They're trying to take all of the blah blah blah. Anyway,
yeah.
But to me, that was the kind of protest of this song, is that this is a true ambiguous, you don't know if he's good or bad, because both sides you can absolutely get behind, if you will, right?
Sure.
But in this world of fake ambiguous good guys or bad guys, we can make the distinction. All we have to do is follow our heart. To that end, here's a real ambiguous good guy or bad guy situation, just so you know the difference, folks. And
Sure.
that's honestly, that's why it fits on the album.
Cool.
And I'm kind of out of stuff. I mean, I'm not out of stuff, but
well, no, all you needed to do is show up with your charm and your talent, and the rest is on me. So the fact that you had notes prepared is nice for me. I was going to ask you the style of writing that you have.
Yeah.
Going into the studio with essentially just an idea, a wing, and a prayer.
Yeah.
Are you doing, I would question if you're doing your best work in that way. Except for that, I suppose you revise after the fact.
Because I do, if I have to.
Maybe it's just because I know how I work the best and I need a quiet room and a lot of time and whatever. I feel like, isn't there pressure, or do you like that pressure of being in the studio and having to come up with something?
I've come up, and here's the other thing too. I've come up with a way of sitting with my songs in my head for a good week or two before I even attempt to sit and record them.
Okay.
It's very, very rare that a song will compel me. There is one song I wrote for the album after this next one, and I took a nap at like 11 a.m. and I heard this song. I woke up and I made sure I did a voice recorder so I wouldn't forget it. And that afternoon I recorded it, and that night I wrote it. And these are the lyrics, and this is exactly how I did the thing. This is truly pop-up. I heard this at 11 in my head. I recorded it at 2. I recorded the vocals, wrote them at 5. Wrote up on the chapel, what a sight to see, because the groom was supposed to hire a band, and they ended up with me. I tried to play the classics, at least the ones I remember, but the wedding party was having none of it, and I ended up on the street. If I give up, cry out, will you remember me? Screaming my lungs out is almost ecstasy. 1,000 angry whispers or one big pissed off squall. With me, there ain't no middle ground because I just don't care at all. I cry out to the heavens, but there ain't nobody listening. Put one foot in front of the other and march into the fall. And I did not need to. That is truly to me
It's
the
good writing. It's good writing.
yeah. And here's the thing, like I've gotten to a point where the song itself, the melodies, how the vocals are gonna go, and the music itself, the arrangement, whatnot, have been sitting with me for a week or two. That's rare. What I just wrote you,
Yeah.
what I just read you.
Okay.
But it does happen.
Yeah, I gotcha. You're not opposed to that. You're not someone who would say, "No, I refuse to write anything down," because there's some rappers, for example, who I think it's kind of an ego thing. They're like, "Yeah, I don't even write shit down. I just freestyle everything."
No,
You're like,
it's
"Okay."
really not that at all. It just became that way because when I was not recording anything for like a decade or more, I just wrote down songs, and the way that I wrote them down was the lyrics, and then I would remember the music, because I would read the lyrics and be like, oh yeah. Um, and I've stopped doing that. I don't write lyrics anymore. I don't sit and write like have a song in my head and write out a whole lyrics sheet. I just don't do it. It's become a way. It's become a way for me to. I'm a perfectionist, and when I was younger, I thought that meant I thought it was perfect. It's not. It means that you maybe won't even start something if you don't know if you can do it awesome right away.
Yeah,
And I'm a perfectionist like
yeah,
that.
that's an
Yeah,
interesting point of view. I've never heard it
yeah.
described that way. Is that
I
something
yeah.
that you came up with, or is that a psychological finding, or is that T-Bird's take? Because either way, I like it. I'm not trying
I've
to.
heard it. No, I've heard it different ways. I kind of experienced it myself, but
Yeah. Okay.
again, like when I was growing up, people would say, "Oh, you're a perfectionist," and I'd be like, "I don't think I'm perfect," but that's not it at all.
Yeah.
Perfectionism means that you look at something you've never tried before, and if your brain has any anxiety about it, especially if there's people around, you might not even try it.
Yeah.
You
Sure.
might not even. You know what I mean?
It's interesting.
And that's why I sit with my songs in my head for so long, so that I can, generally it's usually a week or two before I actually record it. And then when I write the song or the lyrics out, again, it's just following what's been in my head and putting words where they need to be, making sure they rhyme if I want to. I don't really care if they do. But that's why it just started working that way, that instead of sitting around and just, oh, that's a cool thing, and writing down like a sheet of lyrics for a song I might never record, I thought, you know what, eliminate the middleman and just,
Sure.
get down there and just do it there. And it's transformed how I write songs. And again, like, knock on wood, I've been again blessed with not having to deal with writer's block, and hopefully I never will. And I just to be a whatever. I find myself impressing myself way more than I find myself disappointing myself when it comes to music, which is nice.
That's good. That's
Yeah.
good. Yeah, I don't think that's a. I mean, I guess it could be taken in an egotistical way, but
Mhm.
I understand exactly the sentiment, and
Yeah.
I think it's fair to say that if you do something for as long as we do it, whether it's working on cars, whether it's playing baseball, whether it's what writing songs,
Yeah.
you get to the
Mhm.
point where most everything you do is at least good. It might not be
Yeah.
great, but you at least
Mhm.
you're not going to write something terrible because you learned how not to
Yeah.
do that. You've done that
Exactly.
before, and you've
Yeah.
learned the
Yeah.
pitfalls, and you avoid it now. And
Yeah.
I'd like to think that most of what I do, not at all, okay, don't jump on my case, but most of what I do is good. And
Yeah.
I just have to keep putting out good material, and every once in a while, I'm going to get lucky, and something
Mhm.
great's going to happen.
And
But
you know how it works too, Bluebeard, is the song, like, the song that you don't think much of that you put out, that's like the one that's gonna go huge. You know what I mean? That you're like, oh, what?
sure,
Like, I think this song is, way better maybe, but like it's gonna be that if it happens for any of us in this world, that is how it's probably gonna happen, is, oh, I didn't think that song was much. In
yeah,
fact, I really kind of didn't, dig it all that much. But and yeah, everything I've heard from you, I love.
well,
Um,
I appreciate that.
well, here's the thing, is good or bad, what does that even mean, Bluebeard? What I
Yeah,
mean is, I know when I'm listening to your stuff, and maybe it's because I know you a little bit, because we've been friends on online friends for a good solid 2 years now.
Sure.
Um, I can tell that what's coming out of the speakers is authentic. It's not manufactured or faked. Matty Jade is like that. D Money is like that. Attaboy Paulo is like that. Fucking SPOOG is like that. All of these fantastic, amazing musicians in our community, Free the Real, of course. That's authenticity. That's authenticity. Authenticity that you can't fake, and that's why I think all of it. It's such a. It's not really objective, good or bad to me. It's really about perspective and who's listening to it and at what point in ther lives they're listening to it. Maybe
Uh,
I don't know. I like to think all of our stuff is good.
Yeah, sure. Does it take courage to be authentic, do you think?
I think so. Especially in today's world with the way people want to be like one thing and then another on the other side of their mouth. Um, I, I really do think that the most punk rock thing you can do these days is to be kind and compassionate. And I've lived my life. I lead with kindness and compassion in my everyday life. It's built into me. I don't know. I wouldn't. There have been times in my life when I was like, if you were kind of an asshole, you'd be more successful. It's fair, but I sleep well at night, I guess. You know what I mean?
Sure.
Like I've never purposely fucked over anybody, and if I can, make up for it, if I have, then I will.
Yeah. Yeah, and
Yeah.
I just want to sorry, I wanted to go back to something you
Yeah.
just went past, and that
Yeah.
was if you kind of suggested if it happens for one of us, if
Yeah.
we get the big hit, if we whatever. I would argue that that is not a great mindset to have because I
Yeah.
think you're already successful, T-Bird. You make
Yeah.
music
That's
that you
true.
love making. You have
Yeah.
people like me who want to talk to you about it. You have people like the
Yeah.
people in that are going to watch this show who
Yeah.
want to hear what
Yeah.
you have to say about it. And
Yeah.
I think that you and I are the mom and pop restaurants compared to the McDonald's or the Applebee's or the whatever. And there are mom and pop restaurants that are Michelin starred restaurants that no one's heard of
Yep.
except the people in their city,
Mhm.
and
Yep.
that are those people failures because they're not McDonald's because they haven't taken over the world? No, they're not.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
I just wanted to, I know that you're a good guy, so you're a couple times here I've taken you to task a little bit and challenged you a little bit, and I know
Yeah.
you're
And I
not going to
like
get
that.
offended. It's not, hopefully, it's not a problem. I get the
No, I
vibe.
appreciate
Yeah,
it.
but
Yeah. I think. Yeah. Go
yeah,
ahead.
go. No, you. Thank you. Go
I
ahead.
was just gonna say, like, I mean, to me, being a well-rounded person means exposing yourself to as many perspectives and ideas and ways of thinking as you can possibly have. And you're totally right. Like, when we first met Bluebeard, I was still worried about plays. I was still worried about stats. I was still worried about all that shit. And being in this community has helped me understand that that is all bullshit. You know what I mean? Um, and it's true that we have all made it. And in kind of another way, like I don't want to say I don't care if I make it or I don't care that I haven't, whatever that means.
Yeah,
I'm
sure,
satisfied. You're absolutely right. I am satisfied with where I'm at right now. I want more, obviously. I want more exposure. I want
sure.
to,
And it's
I
good
want
to
to
be
work with you guys.
ambitious.
But
I
yeah,
don't mean to crap on
yeah,
anyone's
no,
ambition because
totally.
I would love to be that guy and have that hit and
Yes,
have my life
yes,
change. I'm not gonna
yes.
lie
And be
and
able to
say
play
I'm
state fairs
yeah.
forever because they love that one song would be
Sure.
awesome.
Be like
That'd
60
be,
up there. Yeah, just yeah. Why not? Bad hips and all. Um no what
yeah.
I was gonna ask you something and I forgot what it was now.
Oh,
I think I
sorry.
need to
Was it? Um, yeah. Do you need to smoke more?
yeah, I think I
What?
need to. It's good for your
What?
brain, kids. Vitamin THC.
Um. Okay. I'm trying to jog your memory. We were talking about making it.
Talking
Vitamin
about
T.
making it. Oh, yes. I believe
Yeah.
I also wanted to say
Yeah.
no, what was it? Shit. Oh
Yeah.
boy, this is a highlight. Somebody clip this and no, don't clip it, please. I never want anyone to see this part. Maybe if I can get hack Twitch and get in there and edit it
Uh,
out.
Oh,
Um,
well, while you're thinking about that, while you're trying to remember, I can
yeah.
kind of tell you a little bit about my next two albums coming out, I guess.
Okay. Yeah, let's hear it.
Thunderbolt is coming out in August. I don't know what day, but that's a 10-song album, and it's kind of the last kind of T-Bird as is album. And what I mean by that is the next album after the one in August, after Thunderbolt, is going to be called Breakfast in Denmark.
Okay.
And I made no secret about how much my trip to Denmark has changed my life. And I can say unequivocally that my songwriting and recording has changed immensely
Okay.
since I
So,
have finished this album and gone to work on the next one. So Thunderbolt is really like the last, like, straight up 3 minutes and a cloud of dust, fucking T-Bird record that you're gonna get.
okay, cool.
Yeah. Yeah.
So this is, as you know, a songwriting show. Can you talk a little bit more about how your process has changed? What exactly is it? A mindset thing? Is it an actual practice? How you go about it, or
Mhm.
what's? And I assume you're getting better, so you must be
Yeah.
moving the right direction.
I think, first of all, like I said, I grew up reading comic books, so I think I have a bigger vocabulary than most. So that helps. Being able to use words correctly and in the right context, and being able to playing with words is so much fucking fun, dude. Like playing with how, I'm learning Danish right now, and that's really fun. And I learned a Venezuelan song for my friend who lost her mom in the Venezuelan earthquakes, and I
Okay.
sang it at an open mic, and I had to write it out phonetically. But as far as the songwriting aspect goes, again, like when I first started recording, Inner Satellite, I have a book, and it's literally like every one of the songs and notes about the songs, whatever. But it's all lyrics written down while I was sitting at home, whatever, and then I went to the studio.
Yeah.
Um, I wanted to do that for every album. This is supposed to be the Thunderbolt or album, but it has become half Thunderbolt, half Breakfast in Denmark because I haven't bought a new book because I'm not doing it the way I used to.
Yeah.
I still have these books that I want to keep the notes about, but really more than anything, I think it's just streamlined. I've been
Sure.
able to streamline the process to where I know what I know where my to be really brutally honest, man, I it takes a long time for some people to find their voice.
It does. And that was
I
part of one of my follow-ups
I
about
think
authenticity is when did you
yeah,
realize who you were and that you could be that guy?
probably around Arigato. I think Arigato was the album that was like I broke away from all the stuff that I'd done in the past because that was the last album I did with previously written songs. Everything since then has been for each, like, hey, I'm working on 1071. So all the songs I'm writing are being written right now for this album. They're not whatever. I think Arigato was the album that I was like, hey, wait a second. I think I know exactly what I want to be. And I want to be this fucking three chords in a cloud of dust fucking AC/DC rock and roller, dude. I want to be
Sure.
about power, right? Um, oh, what was it? A journalist once asked ACDC, "Hey, there's been reports that ACDC stands for Antichrist Devil's Child," and they looked at the reporter like, "Are you an idiot? It's on every electrical appliance. It means power. You dumb shit." So you can say like all AC/DC sounds the same, or you don't like AC, whatever. But
Yeah.
AC/DC does mean power, and I'll fight anybody who's like, no, they're not the most powerful like three-chord rock band ever. Yes,
Oh,
they
they
are.
rock. They rock
Yes,
hard.
yes, their songs sound the same, but that's because they're good at it.
Yeah.
I want my favorite artists to evolve. I'm cool with AC/DC and like Iron Maiden not really evolving, as you will. They've had their sound for decades and they're good at it, and thank God for them, right? But I also don't want to be fucking U2 like Zooropa era. I don't want to be them being like, well, we started off experimenting with multimediaism and then we went ahead and just became these capitalist whores.
Yeah.
Like, look at this shitty album we just put out. I don't want to do that either. I don't want to be Metallica Load either. Like, which has since became like, okay, that's an okay album. No, it's not. Not for whatever.
Yeah.
I want to evolve, but not piss off whatever fans I might have, because I don't know how many, fans of my music I have. I wish I could quantify that, but I want you to know that I kind of want to be Billy Joel. I want to evolve through all these eras and still know that that's a Billy Joel fucking song. But
Yeah.
this is a doo-wop one, and this is a song about, the mines in Pennsylvania, and this is a song about this, and this is a song with electronics, and this is a song that's straight up rock, and this, I want to be fucking, I want to be that. I
Yeah.
want to be that.
Sure. Sure. I think
Be respected.
another
Yeah.
way to say something you said is you got to be or I don't remember exactly what you said, but what I thought is you have to be true to yourself throughout it all. If you want to be
Yes.
authentic, that grain is going to remain. And there are some
Yes.
people who I do think make the mistake of swinging the pendulum too far. It'll be like a metal person, they'll put out a country album, or like vice
Yes.
versa, like when Garth Brooks did the life of
Chris Angel.
yeah,
No, it was
I don't
Chris
remember,
something, not Angel.
Riley
That's an album.
Gaines or something, wasn't it?
Yeah.
I feel bad. I don't want to make Chris Gaines. Yeah, I don't want to make
For
fun
him for
because
trying, right?
yeah,
Honestly, good
yeah,
for him for trying.
yeah, and honestly, I don't think I would share the politics of Garth Brooks, but I would love to talk songwriting with him because he's been a part of some great songs, and
I can say
respect.
this about I can say this about Garth Brooks Brooks as far as politics, his politics go, because of Thunder Rolls. I
Yeah.
know he's against beating women, so I think I agree with Garth Brooks on that note, at
Yeah,
least.
yeah, that's one we
Um,
can all.
I know
agree
that
on.
he's a good dude. I've heard a
Yeah.
lot of stories from various sources that he's a genuine guy, even though he's like the king of fucking country,
Yeah.
So that's nice to know that hopefully some of these people have not been infected by this. I want to be in front of everybody all the time shit.
Sure. How about this? Do you?
Yeah.
This is a question that I stole from what was that movie? Almost Famous.
Oh yeah.
Do you need to be sad to write a sad song? Do you need to be happy to write a happy song? Or can you,
No.
as the artist, manipulate words in a way to create a world outside of what you're feeling?
No to the first two and yes to the third part of that. To me, when I know what I've been very blessed so far to be able to make my voice do whatever I want it to do, whether it's be gruff for Amon Ray on Tectonic, like I sound, like, I mean, Wolfman Jack, or be really pretty, like the song um, Blown Apart off of Arigato. Like that is straight up naked, like, hey, this is me singing really, really prettily. Prettily? What the fuck? I don't know words. Um,
You're
but
doing great, man.
I've been blessed to do whatever I want with my voice, and because of that, I know that like when I'm doing a song like Rochambeau, I know the energy that is required for um that vocal performance. I rarely do drop-ins if I can help it. The only time I do drop-ins is when if I sing really high, I run out of breath quicker because I don't know how to use my, diaphragm. So there are times when I have to maybe drop in and do like 1, 2, 3, 4 like that.
Yeah, sure.
But
Oh,
generally I like to do it all at once because
yeah.
you can hear the breaths, you can hear all. And when I did my couple of rap songs, I didn't do any drop-ins, not
Yeah.
once.
Sure.
I just didn't want to do it. But I think you should be able to have an idea of what is required for that vocal performance. What does that song mean? And how do you get that meaning and that stuff to the microphone? I think no matter what mood I've been in, I've been able to make sad songs and happy songs. There was a song I wrote off of Thunderbolt, the title track, which was the first song I wrote back in October last year. And I remember writing it and thinking about it in my head and being like, "Oh man, that's just too good. I don't know, whatever." And it's a really simple, like 3 chords, like I like, and it's just the chorus is the thunderbolt struck the day you were born. This thunderbolt just south of Divinity, and I fucking love that line that I wrote. but it's not necessarily happy or sad. It's kind of saying, it's talking about how I have made it a little bit, like I am doing good stuff, but I
Sure.
don't think so. So it's kind of a song to myself to be like, hey, stop fucking shitting on yourself. You're really fucking good.
Right
And
on.
when I got to the end of the song, the first time I recorded it, and that was just what I did with the lyrics on that one was I wrote them when I got to the studio, whatever. I remember the original song has me like going like yeah 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 at the end of the song because I was so fucking pleased with myself how well I did on that song. I was crying. I
Yeah.
was so pleased. I'm one of those people who happy cries sometimes,
Yeah.
and I felt that emotion, and the emotion was for me. I know that anybody listening to Thunderbolt, the song or the album when it comes out, they're gonna hear that. They're gonna hear that authenticity that like I had to muster up and get onto the record. And I think it's very I understand that some people it might not be as easy, and for some people you do have to be sad to write sad and happy to write happy. And there's nothing wrong with that. The greatest thing about music, Bluebeard, and making music is there are no fucking rules.
It's true.
I don't know if anybody heard that.
Yeah.
But that's why it's so much better than math, man. 2 plus 2 is always going to be 4. Some days I like U2's Europa. Some days I hate it. It depends on the day. It's
Yeah.
not always that way. And to me, that is why I've always been music and writing and creating because somebody can tell me that it sucks, and that's fine, but they cannot objectively quantify to me why it sucks or why it's good. Because of that, I can always believe that my stuff is great, and I can always believe that if I dream it and make it so, it can fucking be, man.
Right
You
on.
know?
Right
Yeah,
on. I like the confidence
yeah,
in your ability. I think
yeah.
it makes me wonder, when did you decide that you were good? When did it click
Mhm.
in your head that you were good at this? And the
Yeah,
second part of the question is, if you could go back in time and talk to, say, 18-year-old T-Bird or 13-year-old
yeah,
T-Bird or whatever, some young age, do you
yeah.
think you could get yourself to where you are now faster? Would you know what to say? And if so, what would you say?
So the first part, I've been in therapy for 2 years with this great therapist. Her name's Lindsay, and she's just great. Sometimes I go in there and we shoot the shit. Sometimes I have stuff that we need to delve into. But almost all of it was I came in to the process really depressed and really sad and really just unhappy and just anxious and just, whatever. And a lot of it had to do with a lack of emotional maturity. And in the last 2 years, I've developed an emotional maturity that I am so proud of. I'm able to understand that, when they say don't take it personal sometimes about different things, like I'm able to actually do that.
Yeah.
Um,
Easier said than done a lot of the time.
it
Depends
takes
on the person.
practice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, some
Um,
I have people I'm very close to who
yeah.
can be very sensitive. And
Mhm,
I've got people who I'm very close to who are the opposite. And
mhm,
neither is right or wrong. You just have to, I guess, if you're one of those sensitive people, you have to learn after it cools
mhm.
down a little bit that you can't hold
Yeah.
grudges because it didn't always mean what you thought it meant, you know.
Yeah. Mindfulness, practicing that has also helped a lot. I'm actually thinking about getting into yoga here pretty soon because I'm sore all the time because I'm 50 and I smoke cigarettes and I spent 20 years drinking and drugging. But let me tell you something about emotional maturity. I don't know, and alcohol and drugs. I don't know if you guys are aware of this, but um, when you drink, it changes your brain's physiology. And if you're 18 and you start drinking heavily and you don't stop for more than a month during a 20-year period, like I did, your brain is not evolving past 18.
Yeah, it
So
slows down
yeah,
maturation.
yes, when I got sober, when I was 40, I became a 40-year-old who still had 18-year-old emotional maturity. And
Okay.
I think it's taken the last 10 years of my life to really get to a point where I'm confident in myself. I know I know now that I can survive in this world alone because I've done it before. And I'm still here. And I also know that all the times that I thought, oh my God, this is the worst. I'm never gonna, I wish I was dead, blah, blah, blah. Everything eventually worked out because just shit swings like a pendulum. If you can figure out how to do it, you could probably make a lot of money. But society and life swings like a pendulum, it does. And if you can catch it and match the rhythm, fucking go for it. So, based on all that knowledge about 18-year-old me and 40-year-old me, here's what I would tell 18-year-old me. If you, here's what I'd say to him. I would say, Tyler, I know you've already started drinking and smoking cigarettes and you're probably smoking weed now, and I know you really, really like it. But I have to tell you that, you know what, Bluebeard? I wouldn't say shit. I wouldn't say shit to my 18-year-old self. Why?
Yeah.
Because
Okay.
I don't want him knowing that he survives past those 20 years and doing something stupid and ending up not surviving. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Sure.
I don't want him having a false sense of bravado
That's an
and maybe
interesting
getting into a
take.
fight and killed or something.
Yeah.
And to be really honest, I might not know you. I might not know my best friend Jake. I might not have been in radio for 11 years. I don't know. But I'm here, and no matter how much I want to take those 20 years back and do something else with them, man, I cannot.
Yeah.
And the only thing I can do is learn how to carry that guilt and regret from being just a fucking shitty drunk asshole and learn how to carry that through my life and not let it affect my daily relationships and my daily life. And to be truthfully honest, I have such a wealth of those bad feelings from those 20 years that maybe that's why I've never dealt with writer's block, is because I've always, I'm about to fall asleep and my brain will be like, hey, you remember that girl you asked out in 10th grade and she said no in front of all those people? And I'm just like, fuck you. Like have that brain, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So that's maybe why I don't have writer's block, is because my brain is constantly like, hey, you remember this time you sucked? Like, you.
Yeah. Yeah. I think by the way, we reached our hour mark. So we
Oh,
did it. Go team.
whew.
Go team. I
Sir.
did remember the thing that I had forgotten earlier, and I just wanted to
Sweet.
throw in that along with being a success, just with living in America in a first world country, we've won the lottery, man. Like
Yeah.
it's easy to look at like someone like an Arab sheik and be like, God, imagine having a garage full of motorcycles. Imagine having your own jet.
Sure.
Imagine, but we have running water, we have shelter, we have good food that we can trust, and I have the income to buy studio equipment and make
Yeah.
music with it, and it's such a gift to be able to do that.
Yeah.
um I feel like a huge success as a musician,
Yeah.
even if I just, my pops likes a song or my wife likes a song or
Yeah.
anybody likes a song.
Mhm.
I feel good about it, and anyone who
Yeah.
wants me to feel bad because I don't have a number one hit, you go feel bad. I'm not going to.
That's more, yeah, that's more about them than you. You
Yeah.
know that. Yeah.
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 Right on. All right. Well, shit, T-Bird, thank you for everything tonight. It was a lot of fun. Go Hawkeyes. We're going to fight,
Yeah.
fight, fight for Iowa.
For
Let every
Iowa.
loyal Iowan sing. I know the whole fight song.
That's awesome. I'm
Yeah.
making a metal version of it for our podcast, The Hawkeye Hangover.
Okay.
Because why not?
Yeah,
Why not?
I don't know if you know a little Bluebeard lore. I was a Hawkeye for a year and a half. I started my
Nice.
undergrad at the University of Iowa, and
I grew up in Iowa City.
okay. So yeah, the Ped Mall and
Did you go to the Deadwood at all?
oh yeah, sure.
Oh yeah, that was
Yeah,
my
Deadwood. You
hangout,
could
man.
smoke weed in the back of the Deadwood.
You could do everything short of a bong in that place because it was so dark. It was
Yeah.
awesome.
Yeah.
Loved it.
Yeah, Iowa City is a cool place for those who don't know. Not super diverse because it's in the middle of Iowa. Well, in the southeast of Iowa,
Yeah.
kind of.
More
But-
diverse than you would think for Iowa.
Yeah, way more culturally diverse than
Yes.
the rest of the state. It's a little
Yes, sir.
haven of intellectualism and progressiveness and whatever.
In
Anyway,
the state of corn.
get off my high horse. I love Iowa. Iowa's a great state. It's my home state. So
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
Awesome, man. That's cool. I didn't know that.
yeah. All right. Thank you, T-Bird. Thank you to everyone who joined. Pixie. I see Indie Boom Shockwave, David, my
Nice.
wife. A lot of people
Yeah.
came in,
Yeah.
and a lot of people are going to see this after the fact. So thanks to everyone who views, and we out. Peace.